Good evening, and welcome back to the Silver 5150 channel. Tonight I want to say a few words about hyperinflation, what it did look like in the past, and possibly what it's going to look like in the future. We've had a few great hyperinflations here in the last century or so. One took place in Weimar, Germany, which was, I think, the most famous of the hyperinflations, to which I think the one mark currency bill went up to like $88 trillion, or 88 trillion was the highest denomination, or possibly the level of hyperinflation, whereas one Reichsmark at the time had to be covered by 88 trillion of them towards the end of the hyperinflation. So you could see how that would ruin somebody's cash savings. In Zimbabwe back in 2002 and 2003, they reached a peak of hyperinflation after, I think it was Tariq Aziz. He had decided just to go ahead and print as much currency, the Zimbabwe currency, as he could to cover whatever kind of expenses, government expenses, war, whatever, was going on there at that time. And they were actually pretty good looking notes. Now, here is one I got. I'm going to do some of that glare there. Here's one I got from a place called Banknote World. Okay. And this one's actually graded. This is a 50, get ready now, a $50 trillion Zimbabwe banknote. Now, understand that before the hyperinflation, it only took, I think, 8 Zimbabwean dollars to equal 1 American dollar. But by the time they got towards the end of the hyperinflation, they were printing these $50 trillion notes just to cover expenses. And basically, it's probably just a 5 from way back with just a lot of zeros added to it to keep up with the increase in prices. But that still didn't, create more resources. There was still a shortage of resources. And this wasn't even the end of it. But they got to where they were printing $100 trillion Zimbabwe notes. And, they had a water buffalo on the back. This one's got an elephant on the back, which I think is pretty cool. And then looks like some kind of man-made dam feature on the other side of the note. But, $50 trillion, the $100 trillion note, like I said, has a water buffalo on the back and probably something even fancier than that. But my whole point is this. Now, this note here apparently was recovered sometime in, the 2010s, maybe, just beyond that, 2011, 2012. But what had happened probably by 2004 in Zimbabwe is that people were running around the streets picking up wheelbarrows of bales of these bills, bales of them, to go somewhere and create a fire to cook some chickens on. Okay? So think about that. They'd gone from one Zimbabwean banknote that could be used to buy, I don't know, whatever, probably, pack of cigarettes or something, who knows, or maybe a couple of eggs, to where they had to start printing $100 trillion banknotes just to cover daily expenses. And even then, they had to take them in by the bundle. And after a while, they were weighing the $100 trillion notes to figure out if people had enough money to buy a dozen of eggs or whatever. One of the worst hyperinflations ever. If you had had your money saved in these currencies, in this currency, you would have been wiped out like nobody's business, completely wiped out. However, keep in mind that if the currency went up in monetary number value, then whatever kind of hard assets you had went up in value also, simply because there was a resource issue, was a resource shortage there. But regardless of that, that's what it looked like, in the hyperinflation in Zimbabwe. And what would it look like for us in the future? Well, we've got the dollar right now, and the dollar is very strong. And let's be honest, man, the dollar, as far as the currency goes, it is one of the baddest ass currencies on the planet. It is the baddest currency on the planet, one of the baddest ones in history. Now, it's got a lot of elements backing it. It's got, our United States military. It's got the Federal Reserve. It's got, the world's reserve currency status that keeps it afloat. But it's starting to lose clout. It's starting to lose clout, and it's starting to lose potency because these new programs we're doing, repurposing agreements and quantitative easing, which they're not calling quantitative easing, and bond buying and all that stuff, dilutes the actual currency. And in a sane world, our currency would probably be heading in this direction right now. The dollar would. But we're able to use a number of things to keep a lid on it. But I can tell you, effervescing in the banks and effervescing in a medium called the derivatives market, which I think is like insurance, for banks going bad. Every single thing that could be related or attributed to banking has now been declared currency or even money. by the Federal Reserve. They're saying that, hey, anything that's not nailed down, it looks like money and has zeros to it or has a financial instrument responsibility, it is now considered money, and we are going to spend it to fix things. So they're going to use the broken financial instruments that are breaking the system to fix the system. Let's see how long that lasts. In any case, I don't think we'll ever see denominations like this for the dollar. The dollar will remain halfway sane until the very end, and then all of a sudden it'll end like a thud, and governments will come in and they'll figure something else out, whether they're going to be cryptos or just only credit systems, no paper currency, this sort of thing, go all electronic. Who knows? But what I recommend is before something like this even remotely thinks about happening, is that you take whatever available currency you have and you convert it into something more tangible. If you can convert it into tangible money, like gold and silver, platinum, copper, then go ahead and do it. If not, buy something you want. I'm looking at a Porsche Panamera that someday I hope I will own because I really, really dig that car. But I would do that. In Greece in 2010, they had to do that when the banks started failing over there. People were buying Mercedeses and houses and condos and clothes and anything that was physical, just to keep from losing. I guess back then it was drachma value. I think that's what they were using for currency over there. Anyway, gone a little long on this one, but the bottom line is that here's where we're headed. Don't know how long it's going to take to get there, but don't wait until we're on the way there before you start freezing the value of your purchasing power right now. The best way to do that, of course, is with monetary metals. Gold, silver, platinum, palladium. If you can get palladium, and copper actually works really well too. Buy it, hold it, and wait. Once this whole thing blows over, you'll be able to come out of the shadows, or come out like the groundhog, sniff the fresh air, and then take your preserved purchasing power and leverage it in the new paradigm, the new monetary paradigm. So, all right. If you like this video or like more content like it, please like, share, subscribe, and feel free to comment. I know there's a lot of things I miss, and I might be wrong on some stuff, so I'd like for people to correct me on that so I can learn more, because the more I learn, the better prepared I'll be too. And I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching this video, and we will catch you next time on the Silver 5150 channel.